Alright, so one of the first things that you need to be aware of when it comes to selling on eBay is that there's multiple different ways that you can do it. But I would say that the two most popular ways is either by buying stock in bulk or by doing dropshipping. And depending on which option that you take, there's going to be various different pros, cons, advantages, and disadvantages. But for those of you that are scratching your head right now thinking, Sam, I don't really understand these two terms, I've never heard them before, can you break it down for me? Yep, I can definitely do that. So when it comes to eBay dropshipping, the way that this works is that you're going to find a dropshipping supplier. From there, you're going to list products on your eBay store, and whenever you make a sale, you're not going to have to pick, pack, or ship out the order yourself. It's going to be your supplier's responsibility to make sure that they send out the order to your customer so you never have to see the products. And when it comes to buying stock in bulk, it works in the opposite way, where you're going to have to buy the inventory upfront, and it's going to be your responsibility to make sure that you send out the orders on time every single time. And I'm sure just by hearing the way that these two different methods of fulfillment work, you're probably thinking, Sam, why would anyone choose to buy the stock in bulk if they have the option to dropship? And of course, you can definitely go down that route if you wanted to, but again, there's various different pros and cons that you need to be aware of. So right here, I'm going to go through the pros and cons for each of these two different options, just so that you can pick the best one for your own situation. So starting off with the main pro when it comes to dropshipping, I would say that you're not going to have to spend any money on inventory. It's quite obvious. You're not going to have to pay for the product until you make a sale, because again, the way that it works is that once you do make a sale, the customer is going to give you the money for the item. Of course, you would have priced it slightly higher, so you're going to take the money that the customer gave you, go over to your supplier's website and buy the item from them, and you're going to be able to keep the profit on top. And as great as that sounds, there is some cons that you need to be aware of, and I would say that the main con that I've noticed over my time of doing eBay dropshipping is that you're going to be dealing with more competition. So eBay in itself is already a competitive place when it comes to selling items, because it's a marketplace and there's various different sellers on the platform. And because there's so many different sellers, it is going to be quite difficult to stand out when it comes to doing eBay dropshipping. So you're going to have to get a little bit creative when it comes to you being able to generate sales. And this now brings me on to the second method of selling on eBay, which is by buying inventory in bulk. And I would say that the main pro when it comes to this method is that you're going to be able to offer your customers 1 to 2 day shipping. So buying stock in bulk was actually one of the main ways that I was able to grow my eBay business to my first 100k, 200k, 400k, so on and so forth. Because I was buying the products in bulk from China, I was able to offer my customers in the UK 1 to 2 day shipping, which meant that I was going to be able to beat out a lot of my competition, because there's a lot of customers out there that don't necessarily want to wait 5, 10, 15 days for their product to arrive. So by me being able to offer 1 to 2 day delivery, I was able to generate sales on a daily basis. But in saying that, I would say that the main con when it comes to this particular eBay business model is that you are going to need money when it comes to getting things up and running. So buying inventory in bulk is definitely a great way to go if you do have a budget when it comes to you investing into your e-commerce business. But at the same time, there is some risk that is associated with it, and you do have to be prepared to lose some sort of money, because the products that you're buying may not sell in the way that you want them to. And that's why it's very important to make sure that if you are thinking about buying inventory in bulk, you make sure to do product research to make sure that the items are actually selling well, because the last thing that you want to do is invest $1,000, $2,000, even up to $5,000 in products just for you to find out that no one's buying them, and now you've got a whole bunch of items sitting in your house that you're not able to sell. And speaking of product research, there's various different easy ways that you can use when it comes to you making sure that customers are searching and spending money on the items that you're considering to sell. So one of the ways that you can do it is by coming over here just like this, clicking on shop by category, coming over to all categories. From here, you're going to be able to get an idea of which items are currently selling well on eBay, and you're going to be able to look at these subcategories for you to find items that you're going to be happy to sell yourself. Now, just to make this video easy, I'm going to use this subcategory over here, oral and dental care products, and then I'm going to click on dental floss and flossers. Straight away, we're going to be able to see all of these different items that are currently doing well. We can see all of these different best selling items over here. So right now, eBay is basically telling us that dental floss related items are doing well, but when it comes to making sure that customers are actually spending money on whatever item that you're looking at, what you need to use is eBay's free product research tool called Therapy. And the way that you can find it is by logging into your eBay account, coming over here to research, clicking on Therapy product research, and making sure that you've selected the right listing site. So in this case, I'm going to leave it on ebay.co.uk because that's where I would primarily be selling. And as you can see over here, I've also typed in the keywords for the item that I'm using in this example, which is dental floss. floss. Another thing that you need to do is set the date range to the maximum amount of time that you can. In this case, it's the last 3 years. And then I'm just going to click on research. Okay, perfect. So right there, as you can see, in the last 3 years, we can see that customers spent over £2.5 million on dental floss related items, which is obviously a lot. But I would say that the most important thing that I do from this point is just scroll down over here and click on this arrow, because what that's going to do is take me to this page where it's going to be able to show me the daily sales. And the most important thing that you want to do from this point is make sure that the item that you're thinking about selling hasn't dipped in terms of the amount of people that have been buying it every single day compared to last year, the previous year, the year before that, because it's going to allow you to know if you found an evergreen item that you're potentially going to be able to sell over the next few years. So as you can see over here, in 2021, the same amount of people spent money on this item the following year as well as the following year after that. So far, this is definitely a great sign. But scrolling down over here, Terapeak is going to be able to show us the items that customers spent the most money on, which means that this is going to give us a clearer picture of exactly which item we should be thinking about selling ourselves. So for example, if I just scroll down and look at the second best performing one that was able to bring in over £53,000, if I just click on it just like this, right here, as you guys can see, this seller was able to sell over 9.5 thousand units of this item. And if I just copy the main keywords for this product, which is dental teeth cleaning kit, come over to Alibaba.com and paste it in here and then click on search. If I just scroll down slightly, we're going to be able to find a very similar item over here, as you guys can see, where the supplier on Alibaba is only selling it between 50 cents to around 95 cents. And bear in mind that what I just showed you right now is an example. I'm not saying that you should go away and sell dental teeth cleaning kits or floss or anything like that. I'm just showing you the strategy that I would use when it comes to figuring out if customers are spending money on the item that I'm thinking about selling, so that I can give myself the best chance of being successful when it comes to building up an eBay business. But of course, finding winning products is only just part of the puzzle. When it comes to selling on eBay, you also need to make sure that you're doing the best things when it comes to listing the item on your eBay account. Because one important thing that you guys need to know about selling on eBay, generally speaking, is that eBay is a search engine. And because people go onto the ebay.com website, type in specific keywords, it's your job as a seller to make sure that you're doing everything in your possible best to get your eBay listings ranked as high as possible in the eBay search results. And right here in front of me, I've broken down a lot of the important things that you need to be aware of as a new seller. Like for example, you need to make sure that you're putting the product keywords in the title. I would say that one common mistake that so many beginners make is that they don't realize that the title is probably one of the most important places when it comes to you inserting your keywords, because this is probably the first place that eBay is going to scan for them to get an idea of what item you're selling in the first place. So it's very important to be aware of this so that you can use high quality keywords. It's also important to make sure that you're aware of the fact that images are very, very important. And when I say important, I'm talking about important for the customer, because they're going to look at your images for them to make sure that they're buying the right item. And it's also important to make sure that you're using the right images when it comes to you getting ranked in the eBay search results. So my advice to any beginner out there is to make sure that they're using the maximum amount of images possible, and also make sure that you're using images that show the product from various different angles. You don't want to just upload 1 or 2 or 3 different images. You want to try and upload as many images as possible, so as the customer is flicking through, they're going to know 100% that they're buying the right item. And when it comes to pricing your product, you want to make sure that you're not pricing yourself too high or too low. You want to make sure that you're getting a decent return on investment, but you don't want to make the mistake of pricing yourself out of the market. The description is another place where you need to make sure that you're inserting as many keywords as possible, because this is another place that eBay is going to scan. And the description is also important again when it comes to the customer, because I say that at least 80, maybe 70% of customers will go to the description, read through to make sure that the specifications and the features of the product actually meet their needs. So try and put as much details as possible in this section over here, as well as the item specifics. And finally, when it comes to policies, this is another thing that a lot of beginners don't think about. And by policies, what I mean is your terms and conditions, your warranty, your shipping policy, your return policy. Try and include all of this information within your description, because by doing this, you're going to allow the customer to know exactly what to expect. They're going to know exactly what your terms are, what your policies are, and the more clearer information that you give to your potential customers, the more likely you're able to turn them from a non-paying customer into a paying customer. But this now brings me on to one of the final things that I believe is super important for every single eBay seller out there to be aware of, which is that you don't want to be an eBay seller. You just want to use eBay when it comes to building your e-commerce business. Now, the way that I approached selling on eBay in the early days is that I didn't see it as the be all and end all. I just saw it as a tool when it came to me building up my e-commerce brand. The mistake that so many people make is that they see eBay as the final goal when that isn't the best way to do things. I would say that you should have a multi-platform e-commerce business so that you're going to be able to generate multiple streams of income from multiple different places. And just to give you a quick visual representation of exactly what I'm talking about, when I first started building up my e-commerce brand, the first platform that I was selling on was eBay, and I was able to get my sales to $10,000 per month, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, so on and so forth. And at that point, I felt like it wasn't really wise for me to put all of my eggs in one basket. Even though I love selling on eBay, even though everything was working as it should, I just thought it was a smart idea for me to sell on another platform so I could spread my risk and diversify my income. And the second platform that I started selling on was Amazon, because I knew exactly what I needed to do when it came to growing my sales on this marketplace over here. I felt like I could also grow my sales on the number one biggest marketplace in the entire world, which is Amazon, and that's exactly what I was able to do. And then from there, I thought it was a good idea for me to have my own website so I could take a little bit more control over my business in terms of exactly how I want to run things, and I don't really have to follow the rules of eBay and Amazon. And because of that, I started building my business on Shopify. And one important thing that you guys need to know is that I'm selling the exact same products on all of these different platforms. I didn't sell different items, I was selling the exact same products, and I was also building the exact same brand with the exact same name and everything like that. I would say that this is the best way to do it because you're going to be able to diversify and have multiple streams of income. Now, I wouldn't advise that you do this from day one. It's always good to make sure that you have laser focus on one platform initially, but once you believe that you've mastered it and you've also generated a decent amount of sales, that's the point where you can now move on to other platforms. And of course, there's a lot more that goes into building up an eBay business. I just wanted to give you guys the basic things that you need to be aware of, things that I wish someone told me from day one. But if you did want to get a little bit more information on exactly what you need to do when it comes to starting, growing, and scaling an eBay store over the next year, then what you should do is check out Project eBay. That could be found at www.projectebay.com. Over there, what I've done is just put all of my years of experience when it comes to building up eBay businesses, branding them, and making sure that I'm generating sales and profits. In my own opinion, I would say that this is going to be perfect for any beginner out there that's looking to get started. So if you did want to check it out, make sure that you visit the URL that's on the screen right there, or what you can do is click the first link in the description down below. And if you also wanted to watch another YouTube video that I made not too long ago where I break down some other tips and tricks that you need to know when it comes to making money online with an eBay business, then make sure you click the link right there. Check that out straight after this one because it's already helped out thousands of people and I'm sure that it's going to help you out too. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next one. Make sure you stay safe out there. Peace.